right, well, good evening, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is the Wednesday night Chinese Takeout. The title of my blog post on my website is Only the Shadow Knows, because we're talking a little bit about the shadow banking in China, and only the shadow knows who bailed out that fund that was in trouble. That could have had a lot of rippling effect within China, so we'll see. Let's start off with the Dow today. We're going to just take a quick look at it. Down 190 points. We're continuing to hug the Keltner channel in here, and you can see that we're hugging down it. We got within a couple of points, within like 5-6 points of this low. Did not break it. We're either going to get support at this trend line or support at this 200-day moving average. Not sure which. We'll just have to see. I'll be surprised if this does not break. I just don't see. This is starting to look like we're starting to get a pretty strong move going here. S&P 500 is the same thing. Got within just fractions or a couple points of taking out that low. The low was 1767.99, basically 1768, and it got to 1770 today, 0.45. Here's the trend line. Now the 200-day is a lot lower here on the S&P 500 than it is on the Dow. So we'll just have to see where we get support in. That's really we'll talk more about the indicators and other things when we take a look tomorrow night. Let's look at the Shanghai index. You know, remember last week we talked about, last Wednesday, talked about the divergence that was coming in, divergence here, and this thing just did nothing but go sideways. Okay, the blue did not go above the red, so we didn't really get a buy signal here. I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, the divergence looks fairly strong. It looks like this ought to push. So we'll see what happens here with the Shanghai composite index, and see if it can't shake itself out of the doldrums and see what happens. Tonight we're going to look at the social media stocks. And I know in the aftermarket, I guess Facebook had great earnings. I saw where it was trading up. I don't know, it looked like about 5 points or so, up around 58, 59. So I'll have to take a look at that, see if that holds in the morning. That could affect some of these social media stocks. But some of these Chinese stocks are in pretty good little downdrafts, like Baidu. And when you look at Baidu, I wanted to talk about this for a second. I mean, this stock, since 2005 when it began trading, you know, basically you're looking at one major move, 2, 3, 4, and now we're in the 5th move. And I think we've got 5 waves up in the 5th move. Now, this is classic Elliott wave style. Okay, now these are big moves, large time frames, but you know that's the way things play out like this. This is a classic zigzag, very sharp correction. Very strong 3rd move, which is very typical of a 3rd move. It's typically the strongest and goes the furthest. And then if you have a zigzag deep correction, then the 4th wave is usually the opposite and will be more complex and shallower in terms of the way it looks. Okay, this actually retraced like 84% of the move, and this is retraced like 50% of this move. And it's kind of weird, because this is semi-log. If I change this over and get rid of semi-log and change this to arithmetic, that's how it looks. So that's the difference. But when you start looking at longer term, it's better, I think, this is the way I've always learned it anyway, is to use semi-log for the long term. When it gets to be shorter term, maybe within a year, a few months, that kind of thing, there's probably not much difference between arithmetic and logarithmic or semi-log. So what this does in terms of the difference, 1 inch down here equals the same number of points or percentage-wise as 1 inch up here. Okay, so proportionally, the chart is in exact proportions using the semi-log. So anyway, enough of that. Let's go back into this. If we got 5 waves up, we're correcting. Typically, you're going to correct all the way down to the 4th wave. We'll just have to see that naturally, I think we're going to get support at the 200-day in here. And I think you're going to get support where this peak, which became resistance, got support in here. A lot of trading was going on. I think you're going to get that support coming in here as this pulls down. That's around 135, okay? But it's definitely broken this trend line from June of last year. And it's, you know, it's trying to jump in and buy something here is like catching a falling knife. I don't think that's a smart move. Okay, let's take a look at Cena. Cena's a similar type thing, a sharper actual move down, and has this big trend line that it's broken. It's actually below the 200-day. So I'm looking for support. We're looking probably down in this area in here. Okay, so this area right in here would be my guess for where support's going to come in on Cena. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. We'll take a look at is Chihu. Chihu again is another one that's had a big move. He started trading in 2011. This was actually a low point. This came close, but did not go 100%. Didn't go down to this point. So wave 1, wave 2, and this is a valid wave 2 as long as it doesn't retrace over 100%, go past the start of wave 1. Then again, this powerful wave 3 up in here with an extended wave 5 within wave 3. Now we're getting this shallow complex wave 4, and I'm not really sure that wave 4's ended, and here's why. Because when you look at this and you look at, let me pull up this bar. When you look at this peak right here and you bring this all the way across, okay, you really haven't gotten a close above that peak. And you take this point here and you bring it across, and so really what you've got is you've got this sideways consolidation in here. And I'm not using the right thing, but you know what I'm talking about. You're getting this sideways consolidation in here, and so I'm really wary of jumping in here. And the average true range on this stock is like 5.2 points. So you better have some capital if you're going to take a position on this stock, because you got to give it some room, and you give it some room, like say 2 ATRs. Well, you're talking about 10.4 points before you decide you're wrong. So anyway, that's in on Quahu or Chihu. I always say that. All right, Yoku Tudu. Okay, we talked about this on Sunday. We've pulled back 38%, and I'm talking about a retracement of this move from 2 to 3. This is 38%, this is 50%. Okay, you know, and the way you do that is, and I might not be able to do it because it's going to grab the wrong thing. Let's see. Oh, it did it. Okay, so here's the 38%, and here's the 50%. So you stretch the retracement lines, the Fibonacci retracement lines, and that's what you get. Okay. So we'll just look to see if we start to build some support and start to build a turn in here. That's what I'd be looking for. The last one is Dang. Well, I don't know why I did that, but let me see. Dang is kind of doing a similar thing to Chihu. Okay, it's kind of going sideways. I'm not sure that 2 is really completed here. I think we're getting something more complex, and I'm not really sure what. We actually could be getting, I don't know. It's really hard to tell, but you know, really, it's kind of going sideways, very similar to what Chihu is doing. Let me see if I can grab this little bar in here. If you can create this, it just becomes a little bit clearer when you start looking at, you know, putting the lines across. So we're kind of like going back and forth within this trading range, and we're going to need to break out of this trading range and get a close above this to actually have something legitimate that looks like it's going to be. It's trying to trend higher. I mean, you've got the 50 above the 200-day, the 200, but the 10-day is breaking down below the 20. So short term, it's breaking down. You're just going to have to watch it, see what it does. No direction. But again, this is one of the lower price stocks that we've got. Typically don't follow this. I wanted to throw it in with the social media stocks because it's kind of the Amazon, I think, of China. It covers a lot of those types of things in terms of business to consumer. So that's it for tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Have a great Thursday. Thanks for stopping by. This has been Joe with Beyond the Chart. Have a great Thursday.